Welcome back to HLN Now. All right, Gwyneth Paltrow at it again. Keep that in mind, and she's drawn the ire of many, including Cindy McCain. Yes, Cindy McCain, the wife of Arizona Senator John McCain. John McCain, the prisoner of war, war hero. So there's your backdrop. Now let's get to what Gwyneth Paltrow had to say. Here's what she said. She's giving a speech, and here's part of what she said. You come across internet comments about yourself, about your friends, and it's a very dehumanizing thing. It's almost like how in war you go through this bloody dehumanizing thing and then something is defined out of it. My hope is we get out of it, we'll reach the next level of consciousness. So bad comments on the internet, she's equating here to a dehumanizing thing and going through war. To that, Cindy McCain, her Twitter response was this: Gwyneth Paltrow's a joke. Her life is like taking bullets for a soldier. What a joke. My two sons serving in the military should talk to her. And then the follow-up is perhaps Gwyneth Paltrow should go on patrol with some soldiers, kind of like a red carpet in her mind, I guess. Cindy McCain joins us now, and we want to get her take on that. We'll hit some other topics as well. Well, it's nice to talk to you. Nice to meet you. So could you believe when you saw her comments? And again...
No. I didn't believe it. I think it was, an ignorant thing to say, and certainly a very selfish thing to say. I would encourage Gwyneth Paltrow, and I would be happy to go with her, to go sit down with some troops who have served in Afghanistan or Iraq and talk to them about what really goes on, and perhaps meet some of the young men and women who have lost limbs from this. It's Hollywood. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, and I know this is so close home to you and to others, military families. Talk about that, the sacrifice that families make.
It's an extraordinary sacrifice. These young men and women are the best of the best in the United States, and they serve so selflessly. They serve so that people like Gwyneth Paltrow can say the things that she did freely. I have two sons serving. Of course, this is very personal to me. And I encourage people to remember that our veterans and our active duty military right now are putting themselves their lives in harm's way, and they do that freely and they do that voluntarily. I just think she's way out of touch.
Yeah, you and others have said that very same thing. Hey, while we have you here, and I know such a story we continue to follow, the world's following it. The young girls in Nigeria have been taken, 200 plus. And I know you're the co-chair of the Arizona Human Trafficking Council. The McCain Institute has done great efforts to try and stop human trafficking. When you see a story like that, and obviously all the questions come, what can be done? Why can't we get these girls? What do you say, someone who's fought against human trafficking so long?
Well, I've worked in this region also, and this is a very difficult region to work in an attempt to try to find these girls. I'm afraid to think, but I do believe that these girls are no longer together. I think they've got them parsed out outside of Nigeria. Listen, this Boko Haram group and all these other groups, that operate both in Africa and other parts of the world, these guys are really bad guys, and that's an understatement. As far as human trafficking goes, this is a way of life for them. And we, as free countries and societies that do not believe in selling our children, need to do something about this.
When stories like this come, and obviously the world takes notice, have we been behind in taking notice on this topic and coming together?
I think this topic is finally reaching momentum. I think people are beginning to recognize that it takes place in a horrific manner within our own borders in the United States. But when something like this happens, this isn't the first time this has happened, by the way. This has occurred in other countries, even larger groups around the world. But I'm grateful that people are beginning to get active on this, to pay attention to it, and call it what it is. It's terrorism.
Well, when you talk about the efforts, and it's good to see the world rally, and I'm sure that heartens you, someone who's been in there, and you said you've worked in this region. Last word on that, though. What would you like to see moving forward as we collectively try and stamp out human trafficking and things like that we're seeing going on in Nigeria?
Well, human trafficking is it's operated by cartels around the world. The same guys that are selling drugs, selling guns, animal parts, all the things that we hear about are also selling our children and selling our young women particularly. And quite frankly, they view these women and these children as disposable. So when they sell them, these girls don't usually get out of this. They usually die. And that, I'm afraid, may be the case in this situation. I'm praying it's not. These are lovely little girls, and I'm just grateful that the world has taken a serious notice and is putting pressure on Nigeria. And by the way, the president of Nigeria, to somehow say he knows where these girls are, and you know they found them, when we from the United States, who is also in there, have no idea where they're at and can't find them. I just think that we need to put world pressure on countries that somehow condone this activity.
Well, Cindy McCain, pleasure to talk with you and all the efforts you have done to stop human trafficking. Thanks again. We'll have more coming up.
Thank you.
Stay with us.